So I, 27 female, was estranged from my deceased sister for 5 years after she had an affair with my fiancé that I found out about and resulted in a pregnancy. I cut them out of my life and declared them dead to me. They had a child who's now a preschooler. I'm not sure exactly how old. I've never met the child. I never wanted to meet the child or be in their life. My parents knew their grandchild and supported the child while my sister and ex were alive. They were on and off after I left him. I heard from friends that their breakups were quite explosive. When they died in a car accident recently, people were shocked, but also kind of not, because many people assumed they were arguing and didn't focus on the road. So their child went into foster care. My parents tried to take them, but were denied for health and mobility. The child's paternal relatives didn't want to take the child. No surprises there. So my parents turned to me. I'm now engaged again to Luke, and we bought our forever home last year. We were stable and happy, and my parents believed that we should take their grandchild. I told them I would not be a good fit to raise the child, and I was sorry, but that was the end of the discussion. And as far as I was concerned, Luke told them he was with me on that. My parents went behind my back to try and talk him into it, but he told me and I told them to stop. They begged me again to reconsider and said, imagine how nice it would be to know my nibbling, to get to be there, to have a child who's part of our family, kept in our family, and raised lovingly around people who want the best for them. I told them that's not a job for me and to let it go. A few days went by and I thought they might have let it drop. Then they called me and told me to think about how good it will look for me, the betrayed sister and ex-fiancé, to have enough love and compassion to raise the child that was conceived out of said betrayal and love them and be the best mom to that child who could exist. They said people would think I'm a saint and would always think of me as an incredible person. I told them I'm no saint and I don't want to be a saint. I don't need to be seen as some incredible, amazing person. I'm not going to raise their grandchild just to look good to other people, and they need to stop asking me to. They told me I was heartless and asked how I could not care at all about a child who's my own flesh and blood and who's been tossed around the system in just a few weeks because, according to them, the child has been in 4 homes already. They said I shouldn't be able to turn my back on family like this, and I should have more compassion for them, who were told by CPS that they wouldn't be allowed to raise their grandchild. Am I the idiot? OP, you are not the idiot. My youngest is adopted by a family member of mine. We were all in the day we knew we could be, and it's hard. We love him. He completed our family in a way we didn't know we needed, but it's not in any way easy to adopt a child from family. Taking on a child should only ever be done if you're 1000% in it. I know it sounds harsh, but you owe the child nothing. Their parents did them a huge disservice, not planning for a guardianship and a will. That's not on you to sort out. Raising a child you resent is not the right thing, no matter the circumstances. I'm not naive to the foster system. Most of my cousins and family spent much time in it, and we've been foster parents. But truly, you'd be doing that child a disservice if you took them in from guilt. It would be insulted by the fact that they think you should do it to look good. Exactly. OMG, that they even suggested what others think might be a possible motivation. I can't imagine a betrayed ex to be a good stepmother for an orphan child, at least when the person went no contact with the family of that betrayal. Sounds more like the ideal setup for an evil stepmother. As sad as it is, having the child at home reminds you of your ex and sister's betrayal and their death. I'm sorry for the grief they're putting you through. Apologies, as I don't mean to be unsympathetic, but wow, OP, your parents may be lying to you about not being able to adopt. That's got to be pretty severe medical restrictions to be turned down for kindred care. And in some cases, they would qualify for assistance care if they take in the child. Our neighbors are in their late 60s, and they both are partly disabled. He's an amputee, and they're raising young grandkids. Something in your parents' story doesn't add up. I am female 42 and have 3 children, male 25, female 18, and female teen. This situation concerns my son and his wife. About 5 years ago, my husband of 17 years, together for 26, passed away. It was very heartbreaking and hard for my children. For the past 4 years, my main focus has been on my children and working so I can support them. However, that has changed in the past 6 months because I've been seeing someone I met at a work event. I wasn't looking to rush anything, but he stayed by my side despite being rejected several times. Even though we're together, I clarified that I wasn't interested in getting married or our families meeting each other anytime soon, which he agreed with. Anyway, yesterday my partner decided to take me out. He treated me to dinner and took me shopping at little boutiques, which was incredibly kind of him. While I was spending time with him, my daughter-in-law saw me without my knowledge, and it was evident that this man was my partner. When I came home, I saw my son and daughter-in-law in the living room waiting for me. They immediately confronted me and kept asking several questions about who my partner was. I was upfront and told them I'd been seeing him for the past 6 months, which resulted in a huge argument, with my son telling me that I was betraying his father. I yelled that I wouldn't spend the rest of my life alone because he didn't like the idea of me dating someone who wasn't his father. I then told them that what I do with my life is not their concern, as I'm an adult, and who I date or go out with isn't their concern. This caused them to leave and complain to my late husband's mother, who has never liked me and is now calling me very rude names. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If they don't like that you have a new partner, spend every evening and every weekend at your sons and daughter-in-law's so you won't be alone. Just get involved in their love life and return the favor. The intruding way. Ask how many date nights they have, who gets presents, how often, does she go to the hairdresser before, does he wear a suitable cologne, etc. See if they like getting scrutinized and controlled. Ask daughter-in-law's mother about her personal love life as well. They'll end up begging you to be with your partner. They need the same energy they're putting out. Also, OP fulfilled her marriage vows. Why is it not okay to seek a companion? If, God forbid, your daughter-in-law passed away, would your son stay single for the rest of his life? I doubt it. He can have feelings for you moving on, but those feelings are his to handle. You haven't done anything wrong. You can move on and be happy. Her husband has been gone for 5 years. It's a huge double standard, especially when children are involved. And for me, it stems from traditional, outdated family roles. Men are encouraged to find a new partner who will give their kids the motherly love they're missing out on. Women are expected to put all their focus on their children, and their spending time in the dating realm is seen as putting themselves before their children. So I, teen male, am on vacation with my family. The people on the trip are me, my parents, my Aunt Jen, and my cousins, Oliver, tween, and Luna, young grammar school. My mom is super airline savvy, so she managed to get us all seated together in a line. My parents and I were on one side of the aisle, and my aunts and cousins were across from us. Anyway, I brought my tablet, which I bought with my own money, on the flight, so I could watch Netflix, as it was a pretty long flight. About 20 minutes after takeoff, Luna starts fussing with her mom about something. I turn up the volume on my headphones. Then I feel a tap on my shoulder from Luna, who has the aisle seat. I'm also in the aisle seat. Dialogue is rough since my memory isn't the best. Luna: "Hey, mommy said I can play on your tablet. Give it to me." Me: "No, I'm using it right now. If you ask nicely when I'm done with my episode." Luna: "But she said I could." Me: "I don't care." Luna: Huff: "Mommy, I can play with my name's tablet, right?" Jen: "That's right, honey." Luna: "See? She said so." Me: "It's my tablet, not your mom's. She can't make me give it to you like she can with Oliver. Now leave me alone." I then put my headphones back on and turn the volume up again, drowning out any more whining. About 20 minutes later, my dad taps me on the shoulder and asks if my episode is over, because my cousins are getting pretty noisy and my aunt needs a break. I can definitely hear both of them whining and borderline yelling at my aunt that they're bored. Here's where I might be the idiot. I decided that I wanted to keep watching my show and that entertaining my cousins wasn't my job. I say that if Luna can ask nicely, she and Oliver can play for 10 minutes, knowing full well that Luna won't ask nicely because she's spoiled. Jen, hey, Luna, ask my name nicely if you can play. Luna, my name, can I play? Me, what's the magic word? Luna, give it. Me, sorry, that's not the magic word. You don't get to play. I put my headphones back on and turned the volume back up, keeping it that way for the rest of the flight, save for a few times when my parents asked me to give my cousins another chance, to which I said no. After the flight, my mom said that what I did was petty and made things unnecessarily difficult for my aunt on the flight. I know what I did was petty, but does it make me an idiot? Not the idiot. Your aunt is teaching your cousins to be entitled, and your parents are enabling her. Good job for standing your ground. Seriously, what sane person brings two young kids on a flight without having a carry-on bag full of activities? Tablet, handheld video games, books, coloring books, card games, travel-sized board games. So many options. Someone needs to teach Auntie Jay and her kids some manners. How does Aunt Jay think she can give permission to use something that isn't hers? And Luna hasn't a clue about politely asking. Well, how would she? Her mom can't teach her how to behave because she doesn't know how to herself. Good on you for showing them that their tactics don't work. Yes, this was my observation too. Aunt Jay doesn't have boundaries, and Luna hasn't learned how to be polite or execute good manners. Bad manners should not be rewarded. OP, ask your parents why they didn't hand over their smartphones to make your aunt's flight easier if it was so important to them. Let's start with some context. I'm renting a room in a 4-bedroom house. Life's difficult right now, and this is the best I can afford. The other 3 rooms are occupied by people I didn't know before moving in, each paying their own rent, including a couple that sleeps in the larger room. Since the house is shared, we have free access to the shared spaces, like the kitchen and lounge, and we try to respect each other. One relevant thing is that the couple and a person in another room were already friends before moving in, so they spend much time together and do stuff for each other. All is good with me. I'm out most of the day working, and usually, when I cook dinner for myself, I cook a bit extra to take to work the next day and save some money. For example, the other day, I had some chicken breast cut into bits, seasoned with some lemon herbs, and left to marinate. Fry that up with some veggies, add some noodles, and it's a pretty decent meal. On this particular occasion, my coworkers had planned a team lunch for the next day, so there was no point in me cooking that usual extra. Since the marinated chicken smelled pretty good, I thought it would taste even better the following day when I cooked it for dinner again. I got a bowl, placed it all there, covered it with cling film, and left it in the refrigerator, where my refrigerator stuff usually is. We do this so everyone knows who owns what in the refrigerator. Never thought about it again. The following day when I got home, a couple of people from the other rooms were kind of waiting for me in the lounge and just started screaming at me. So the girl from the couple I mentioned earlier is a sleepwalker, and that has never been a major issue until now, save from the occasional noise during the night, but nothing that could be considered annoying. You might see where this is going, though. Last night she got up, still sleeping, walked to the kitchen, opened the refrigerator, and helped herself to a spoonful of marinated chicken. She then went back to bed, where she eventually felt ill and had to be taken to the hospital. Now they're acting like it's my fault, because since I know she's a sleepwalker, I should be more careful with stuff like this and not leave the uncooked chicken on the refrigerator like that. I never thought that that would be a problem. As I said before, we have specific areas for each of us, and we try to be mindful of what we leave there. The chicken was properly covered, and it wouldn't be a problem in any other circumstance. I tried to argue this, but now they want me to apologize to her and help to pay for the hospital bill, which, to be honest, I really don't feel like I should. Plus, I'm down one meal, as the rest of the chicken was just thrown out, and I was really looking forward to it. Not the idiot. Oh, wow, that didn't go as I expected. She needs help with her sleepwalking. It's completely normal to marinate raw chicken in the fridge, assuming you're following food safety, and it sounds like you were. However, it is not normal to eat it while sleepwalking. If she was sleepwalking, how does anyone know she had a spoonful and wrapped it back up? Are you supposed to cook all raw meat immediately upon purchasing it, since you don't know how picky sleepwalkers will be when they raid the fridge? This is all BS. She probably only went to the hospital because she was paranoid after realizing what she ingested after she stole some. By this logic, no laundry detergent, dish soap, hand soap, cleaning sprays, etc. should be stored in a house. Who knows what she might eat? I would definitely expect them to reimburse you or replace your chicken breast, and they should be talking to her sleep doctor about addressing issues caused by sleepwalking. If, as I suspect, that's a BS excuse, she messed around and found out. Diddums. This happened at a potluck. I brought a tofu dish, stir-fried with minced pork, ginger, and spring onions. Similar to mapo tofu, but not spicy. Everything was fine, except when someone asked me if my dish was halal. I said no, it has pork. That's when Jen overheard and freaked out that she ate meat. And it turns out many other vegetarians ate my dish, assuming it was vegetarian. For the rest of the party, I had so many people, including non-vegetarians, tell me I was an idiot for putting meat in a vegetarian dish. But this is a dish I grew up with. Tofu for me is just an ingredient, not strictly a meat substitute. Also, no one asked me if my dish was vegetarian. So, am I the idiot? Or are people just overreacting? Edit. Nothing was labeled. I just left the dish on the buffet table along with the rest of the dishes. There were many other meat dishes. About 20 people were at the party. 4 were vegetarian. No one asked about my dish, except for the person asking if it was halal. They assumed it was a vegetarian dish because they had a weird misconception that tofu exists only for vegetarians. That they didn't bother to ask is on them. You are not the idiot. Chinese tofu dishes and other vegetable dishes often contain pork to add flavor. It's not your fault they didn't know that, and I bet they've accidentally eaten pork at Chinese food places since they didn't know. Absolutely. I'm a vegetarian and made the mistake of not asking when I ordered a tofu dish from a very traditional Chinese restaurant. The menu was predominantly in a Chinese dialect, with only the briefest description in English. I didn't blame the restaurant. I just ordered something different and paid for both dishes. It's not anyone's fault that I didn't ask first. That's the mature way to deal with it. I've been a vegetarian for 15 years. How do you not notice pork of all things in a dish? It's ridiculous if you get angry for just assuming something doesn't contain meat. You can be disgruntled, disappointed, or a bit disgusted, but most of all, you should take it as a lesson to ask next time and pay more attention. Anyway, I live in an extremely health-conscious area and know several people with allergies, so I've started to list ingredients with dishes that I bring to potlucks. I do that when bringing food for large groups. I make some vegan cake, usually, make a flag label out of freezer labels and cocktail sticks, list all ingredients with the known allergens in caps and underlined. Simples. Luckily, I was nearby when someone said they'd have a piece of the vegan sponge cause they need gluten-free. I shouted across that it was not gluten-free. My label clearly showed wheat flour on it. What more can you do if folks won't ask and don't read the labels provided? Dear God, you'd think someone who needs to eat gluten-free would know it's different from vegan. But then again, some people seem to be allergic to common sense.